or what's that show called?
The boys.
The Boys. The Boys. Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
That's not him, dumbass. Shut up. Shut up.
Well, do you
I saw
know?
that.
Do you know who the boss is?
My dick is the boss.
No, you're supposed to say Bruce Springsteen, and then I say no, bitch, Tony Danza.
What are you talking about, nigga? That's not the culture.
Do you know who Tony Danza is?
Maybe he's the.
Bro, we have
one.
right
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Afwan Habibi, Afwan Habibi.
No problem, Habibti. No problem. No problem, Habibti. No problem.
Listen, I just got vaccinated yesterday. I think I'm about to die. So God bless you all. I'm headed to Pfizer Paradise, where there's 72 doctor virgins waiting to examine my anal prolapse. All soldiers are gay, and they all abuse children. Amen.
No.
Amen.
Where are you from? Where are you from?
I am from Uranus.
Shut the fuck up. Where you going?
Don't look at the audience, bro. Look at these two stupid ass next to each other. What the fuck? That's a horse, I think.
Bro, it looks like my boyfriend. More like JC. It looks like Jay-Z, bro.
And saying, oh, we can't put our ideology in government. What the fuck? No, the Christians should have taken over the fucking government and stopped every commie bastard from every entering. That was the only way we would have been able to maintain liberalism. But
Gio, that's why I like Nayib Bukele, even though like the libtards.
yeah, he's based in a lot of ways, but it sucks that it had to be like a foreigner who did that shit in his country. But
Take down the North Koreans.
But
But
Bukele
Gio-
is interesting. We'll see what he does. But like, there are going to be consequences to the things that he does. So he has to be smart and wise enough to maneuver through that. So now that you have an army of like militarized El Salvadorian army, and now that all their enemies are gone, what are you going to do with $100 million worth of equipment and a strong army? Because that's a question that a lot of rulers throughout human history have had to answer. Sometimes by culling the military. I'm not saying he should. I'm just saying that now, like, that's something that he has to be aware of. Like,
But he's not a king, though.
For all intents and purposes, he's the closest thing you can have to a
I
king.
get it, but meaning like
90% of the parliament is on your side, and he's willing to threaten those in the parliament and in the Supreme Court who's against him. So he's basically FDRing right now. He's doing everything that FDR has done, right?
Gio, let me ask you about your hypothesis about a Christian takeover and what that would have looked like in the 20s or 30s if they would have successfully have done that. I just don't get
Wait,
the.
can I say something real quick at that time? So the Bund were Germans who wanted to like become like, you know, they were different. They were anti-liberal at that time, and they were trying to make they were more on the Nazi side on certain things, okay? And they were reacting against the liberalism even in America at that time. And the interesting thing here is that when they gathered in New York City in a few meetings before their big one in Madison Square Garden, Jewish boxers in New York would group up, go to these meetings, and beat up these guys.
Yeah, that's the story of not Ace Rothstein, but Meyer Lansky. That he was.
Yes, he's one of them. Yeah. And so the liberals of the time, the liberal Jews of New York, were willing to use violence to protect their way of life against political interlocutors they saw as foreign enemies. Yes?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. All right. So I rest my case.
But my
The
point.
left and liberals have always known to use force and take over the government. The conservatives refuse to because they want a small government. and in doing so, they own their future interests because they're leaving it up to liberals and communists to be
Yeah.
the rulers, essentially.
So why is how does a minority control a majority? I mean, I think it's an interesting like
Very simply,
philosophical or
state power.
mathematical equation.
State power. It's very simple. State power. State power. That's all you need. Like that's what Adams is saying. Like in the past, I would say something like, if you have shared religion and shared philosophy and shared culture, oh, you can, manifest a strong society where even the government can't take you down. No. That's wrong. Mao was right and Stalin was right. Real power is at the end of a gun.
Let me ask you this. Do you
Yeah.
believe that your physical health can be optimized through intelligence?
Yes, but you need a few other qualities like ambition, not be lazy. You need discipline, those things that are pushed onto you by family members, and sometimes you're lucky enough that you have it naturally.
But aren't those forms of
and if
intelligences?
Yeah. Kind of, but not necessarily. There are thousands of lazy geniuses that have never realized their full potential. So that's why I'm pushing back a little bit and not going fully toward your side. But generally, yeah, I would under certain conditions. So there was a study done where they looked at the life of people who were considered geniuses in their teenage years, childhood, and college years. And they wanted to see how successful these people were and who the real successful people in society were. And their study showed that while there were some geniuses who were able to be useful and realize their full potential, most of the geniuses actually fell flat. A lot of the reasons they think is because they don't get it challenged enough in their younger years, where they have to stay in grade school and middle school and high school, and it's so fucking easy that they're never challenged, and they don't learn how to get challenged, and they don't learn how to respond to challenge, so that it becomes really hard because they're smart, they just don't have the.
But isn't a library essentially the matrix?
Yes, the library can be the matrix. So there's a thing where like kids who read, right? And there's this phenomenon in America that liberals have created, where as long as you read books, you're considered smart. And this is pervasive even amongst Korean middle class people and working class people. It's pervasive anywhere where like there's heavy Protestant influence. And the idea is like, if you just read enough books, you're probably going to be smart. And I would say that's factually false. There are people who read a lot of books and don't gain much from them. And so I think, I don't know, that is a problem in liberal societies where they equate reading with intelligence, and then they select for that generally instead. So there is a problem with that for sure. And it is a little bit detrimental, I think. Like, because the idea is like provide enough libraries and everybody will be able to self-actualize themselves because now they'll have like all the resources.
Well, you would agree that
we've had more libraries per capita than any.
I get that, but you would agree that the library collection in itself can be, ascribed a value, meaning that there's a bell-shaped curve of value of books in the library itself. So only 20% or 10% of those books are actually of any value.
True, very correct, right? And that's a part of the problem as well, I guess. That's a good point. That the fiction books.
Aren't you guys conflating knowledge and intelligence, though? Like, just having recall.
Oh, yeah, right.
Doesn't mean it.
Okay, so I'll be honest with you.
I'm
being a little facetious in the sense that I'm trying to make fun of you just ever so slightly, in the sense that I can hear you vaping. I mean, yes, I'm over here smoking weed and drinking coffee, so I just think that like intelligence, you wouldn't vape. I mean, I can't understand vaping.
A lot of doctors have smoked in the last 100 years of American history,
Yeah, nicotine's a neutral.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you smoke cannabis, which is the more expensive version of smoking? I mean, that's why I get the feeling people smoke cigarettes, because it's the cheapest variety, meaning that cannabis is expensive.
Anymore. I've quit for like 10 years. So I used to smoke cigarettes and then I quit like 10 years ago thanks to vapes actually. So
Dude, what are you talking about? Cigarettes in label now. What are you talking about?
no, there's cheap tobacco. Like if you buy what's the shit that I used to smoke when I was poor? It's a yellow bag. No, not Spirit.
You would roll your own cigarettes?
It's rolling
Yeah.
cigarettes. Midnight
You gotta
Express. There was,
like menthols, like a
what's the yellow bag that
Tops.
everybody knows?
Tops.
Tops. That's the one I'm thinking of. There you go. Thank you.
light
Yeah,
singles,
that's
like
the
a
real
Kitover,
poor man
I'll
bag.
take a-
So I used to smoke. Alright, so I started out with Camels, then Camel filters, then I tried Camel menthols, then I tried the Camel squeezer little thing that came out in 2006-7, where you squeeze the ball for menthol or leave
Yeah.
it for regular.
You know that all communication is hypnosis, right? I have a book on how to. It's called Dr. Carr's How to Stop Smoking.
Yeah, but yes.
If you
All
read,
of
if
it,
you
yes,
read,
it's
if you read that book
hypnosis.
out loud, you'll dehypnotize yourself from smoking, and you'll realize that every time you smoke, you're actually fulfilling an unmet emotional desire.
Well, you just made the argument for why there shouldn't be freedom of speech and like telling people ideologies, actually, because communication is hypnosis.
Well, let me ask one more question. Do you believe that the universe
And
is
if the,
constantly?
Wait, hold on. And if Europe had been smart enough to suppress all the liberals, maybe we wouldn't be here, or maybe it's just inevitable because the Catholics were having their own downfall in the Roman Empire. I guess maybe it's just. Unfortunately, we just have to go through this shit barbarian period, maybe.
Don't you think though that social audio or this app is a good example of the universe coming together to essentially use your brain, but also you are playing a game where the universe is trying to gaslight you, and this is like the purest form of that universal
I love
gaslighting
how
equation.
he's like recording on like 13 phones right now.
No, I'm not right now because I gotta bounce in a little bit.
Too, for a guy who's probably anti-deep state, he has ironically become a new deep state of his own kind. He's like, fuck the FBI, except me when I record people.
No, so basically,
Normalization by
okay, so
It's
base.
like the same thing he's criticizing me of, probably he's going to say and criticize me of doing. He's also doing that with his morning yoga, stretching out loud, trolling people on Clubhouse.
Hyper-normalization.
Being on Clubhouse far more longer and every day than I am ever on Clubhouse. I mean, like, whose shit is bigger, yours or mine?
Well,
think, bro.
if it wasn't me, don't you think it would be somebody else? I mean, this is like, what I'm just saying is.
I'm glad you're doing it so that I could shit back on you. Because if it was someone I didn't know, I couldn't pull out these particulars and shit on you. But thank God it was you who pulled it out. Thank God. Whew. I'll be the yin to your yang, buddy. I'll be your yin to your yang.
Basically, you are a Jew.
I'm a Jew? You take that back.
You know, I got in a fight with Bobby. I got in a fight with Bobby Lee at the Comedy Store one time. I was with. I'm not making this up. I was with a Playboy model that I met at the Halloween parade in Santa Monica, and I dropped her off at her place, and I said, "Well, what do you want to do?" And she goes, "Well, I've been fucked in 4 weeks." So I said, "Whoa, let's go to my house." But Bobby Lee was furious with me that I was with like this perfect dime, and he's just a slimy, disgusting, beanie-headed Korean with a tiger belly.
No. Yes, but like have you been updated by his misadventures over the last few years?
Yeah, with his wife and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then got cut by her.
Yeah.
Paying for everything for her to live with him even after she left. Her still being on the podcast after she left him.
Yeah.
What the fuck, bro? And then there's a scene. There's this like clip that one of my friends sent me because he's a Tiger Belly listener, and he's fucking said this is the only reason I know this shit. He sends me clips from like his favorite moments and shit. And there was a clip where Theo Vaughn and Bobby Lee are listening to her say some shit, and she's putting him down in this weird manner that Theo and Bobby Lee just look at each other. I'm like, bitch, you're the one who let this happen for like 10 years, you dumb bitch.
Well, it's about awareness.
Gio, what is your opinion of Bobby Lee?
He's not that funny. I don't know.
He plays a clown.
What do you think about him representing Koreans?
I mean,
good or bad representation?
Not so good, but at the same time, he's so Americanized. He's actually representing you guys. So
That's
got him.
Wait, but you're in America, though, Gio. You're an American.
I am, but I'm just saying he's just as representative of you guys. Because you just said Korean, I have to distinguish myself.
You said you guys.
How can I say and then you were saying you?
Ethnic group, right?
Exactly. So ethnically, I have to define myself from you guys because
Wow.
and I'm in opposition. Bobby Lee represents me, not you.
I always thought you actually were Bobby Lee, and that Bobby Lee was a character, and this is what you're really like.
Alright, I'm blocking you. Fuck
I
you.
know
Get
it.
out of here.
I know it.
Get out of
You're
here.
gonna
Fuck.
breathe.
Oh!
Oh, I thought you kicked him.
No, I didn't.
That's not funny, but he's actually funny with other comedians.
He's funny like I'm a
No,
podcast.
yeah, look, but most of it is him getting shit on and then him reacting. That's why
Well, he
he's
shits on
funny
himself
with that.
more than anybody shits on him.
Correct. True.
Yeah, self-deprecating.
I have to hear one more story about how he used to get forced to suck that guy's cock. I'll kill myself.
What the fuck?
Self-deprecating humor, which is an American style, right?
True. Sarcasm. Yeah, I agree.
Anyways, thanks, Joe. This has been fun. Have a great day, guys.
You too.
It'll be interesting. You said that about here. I don't really care what you say. Say it.
Inshallah.
Bilal, be careful. Ibn Khaldun says that. You know who Ibn Khaldun? Listen. Ibrahim was Arab. Ismail was Arab. They are Arab. Muhammad